do it. So I really like that phrase there. But yeah, and you feel when you're outside of your comfort zone, you know it.
But yeah, and you feel when you're outside of your comfort zone, you know it.
It feels uncomfortable. You feel stressed.
You
feel anxious. But maybe not always a bad anxious, because sometimes being anxious can be good. Maybe it's
good. You know it. It feels uncomfortable. You feel stressed. You feel anxious. But maybe not always a bad anxious, because sometimes being anxious can be good. Maybe it's a happy nervous. Nervous. It's a happy nervous.
But you feel that fight or flight that we have inside us.
But you feel that fight or flight that we have inside us.
Instinct. And our bodies, they're like, oh, we're not in a safe place.
And our bodies, they are like, oh, we're not in a safe place.
This is not our usual thing. Like, what's going on?
This is not our usual thing. Like, what's going on?
So our body starts playing all these types of tricks on us.
So our body starts playing all these types of tricks on us. So
you're out of your comfort zone, you know.
So you're out of your comfort zone.
But
you know
again, there's different levels of stepping outside of your comfort zone.
There's different levels of stepping outside of your comfort zone. Zone.
It could be like a lot or a little bit.
It could be like a lot or a little bit.
So I guess there's a spectrum of stepping outside of your comfort zone.
So I guess there's a spectrum of stepping outside of your comfort zone.
Have to be something.
It doesn't have to be something really big. It can be something small, but you always know, I think, when you're outside your comfort zone or not comfortable.
Yeah, you can definitely feel it, right?
You can definitely feel it, right?
Know immediately. At least a person like me, I know.
You know immediately. At least a person like me, I know immediately when I'm outside of my comfort zone.
Immediately when I'm outside of my comfort zone.
I know immediately when I'm outside of my comfort zone. 바로 알아. I know immediately when I'm outside of my comfort zone.
Maybe I start to feel a little bit of anxiety or stress or nervousness.
Maybe I start to feel a little bit of anxiety or stress or nervousness.
That might be related to the fact that I'm an introverted person.
That might be related to the fact that I'm an introverted person.
As we
talked about in a previous Clips episode, and sometimes new situations just make me feel a little bit stressed like that.
But I guess maybe, Anna, we should back up just a moment.
But I guess maybe, Anna, we should back up just a moment.
I did want to highlight that when we're talking about the comfort zone.
Because I did want to highlight that when we are talking about the comfort zone.
This is really more like a psychological theory.
This is really more like a psychological theory, right?
Right? There's not like a physical area that's your comfort zone. This is
There's not like a physical area that's your comfort zone.
Psychological
idea.
Psychologists have proposed, in fact, 3 zones of learning and development.
Proposed, in fact, 3 zones of learning and development.
And so in the middle,
you have your comfort zone.
You feel very secure and
in the middle, you have your comfort zone where you feel very secure and
safe and comfortable.
And then hence the name. Secure.
Outside of the comfort zone,
zone. And then outside of the comfort zone,
what's called
what's called the optimal performance zone.
And this is a state
where you feel some stress, you feel some anxiety, you feel some pressure, but you can use this pressure and stress and anxiety to actually push you to work better
or to learn more quickly.
Or to learn more quickly.
Or to achieve your goals in a better way.
Achieve your goals in a better way.
The idea is that if you don't have this push,
then you're not going to be able to move forward in whatever you're trying to do.
So there's a sweet spot when you're just outside of your comfort zone.
So there's this sweet spot when you're just outside of your comfort zone.
Where you're in the optimal performance zone. However, outside of the optimal performance zone,
However, outside of the optimal performance zone
is the danger zone.
Is the danger zone.
Psychologists call this the danger zone. Isn't there
the danger zone?
Song from the 80s that talks about the danger zone?
Isn't there a song from the 80s that talks about the danger zone?
No idea, but it sounds horrible. Just thinking.
But it sounds horrible. Just thinking about the danger zone puts me on edge.
So the danger zone is the psychological state where your performance actually declines.
So the danger zone is the psychological state where your performance actually declines.
Because you're
feeling too much stress, too much anxiety, or too much nervousness, and you actually do terribly in this kind of situation.
So when we're talking about stepping outside of your comfort zone, I think we're actually talking about trying to be in this optimal performance zone.
I think we're actually talking about trying to be in this optimal performance zone, right?
Right, where this little stress, this little anxiety pushes you to do something new or something different,
and because of that, you are able to learn something new or do something differently or grow as a person. And
that's where we want to try and be. We don't want to be in the danger zone.
That's where we want to try. That's where we want to try and be. We don't want to be in the danger zone.
No, I mean the danger zone says it in the label. It's not.
No, I mean the danger zone says it in the label. It's not
place to be, and I like that term.
Not a good place to be, and I like that term
that you use there, Andrew. Sweet spot basically means the optimum level. Another similar way that we might say that is like happy medium.
Another similar way that we might say that it's like happy medium.
Somewhere in the middle. And yeah, of course, and it comes back to what I was saying about there's a spectrum.
Yeah, of course, and it comes back to what I was saying about there's a spectrum.
And you don't want to push yourself too far because awful, but
then it's going to feel awful. But
Andrew, do you
like stepping out of your comfort zone? Do you do it often? Do you make a conscious effort to try
and step out of your comfort zone?
Step out of your comfort zone.
Good question, Anna. I do
make
to be outside of my comfort zone.
I do make an effort to be outside of my comfort zone.
I don't know if I like it, but
I don't know if I like it, but
I think in fact, and this goes.
This goes back to
what I was saying at the start of the episode.
What I was saying at the start of the episode about living overseas.
I kind of feel in a way that I'm outside of my comfort zone.
I kind of feel in a way that I'm outside of my comfort zone.
Almost all of the time.
And living in a foreign country with a foreign language that's spoken around me all the time in a foreign culture.
A lot of things feel a little bit uncomfortable.
You know, a lot of things feel a little bit uncomfortable, but because of this experience, I do feel like I've been able to grow so much as a person,
grow my understanding of the Korean language,
and understanding of Korean culture.
For listeners who don't know, by the way, I do live right now in Korea,
even though I'm Canadian. So yeah, I feel like I'm kind of always outside of the comfort zone.
I don't know if I'm really in the optimal performance zone.
I don't know if I'm really in the optimal performance zone.
Sometimes I am. Sometimes I'm in the danger zone. And
sometimes I'm in the danger zone.
Now that I've lived in Korea for so long,
now that I've lived in Korea for so long,
I think
some
things that
maybe were in the danger zone before are actually now in the comfort zone for me.
That in itself is a measure of growth, I think.
So that in itself is a measure of growth, I think.
Absolutely. And there's a kind of saying that we have in English, everyone, which
there's a kind of saying that we have in English, everyone, which kind of
goes like this.
Nothing good happens inside your comfort zone.
And it's trying to sort of saying about this idea that if you wanted to change, if you want to grow, you've got to make yourself feel a little bit uncomfortable every now and actually, I want to share some.
Every now and again.
It's quite personal because this for me is actually one of my personal things that I have to work on, because I don't know about you guys, but during the pandemic,
I want to share something that's quite personal, because this for me is actually one of my personal things that I have to work on, because I don't know about you guys, but during the pandemic, I kind of went right back into my comfort zone, which was being at home, doing everything online. I didn't meet many people face to face.
Sometimes I can feel a bit nervous about doing that. As I'm sure maybe you guys do as well. So I found that after the pandemic, all of that stuff, that I was way too much in my comfort zone.
I found that after the pandemic and all of that stuff that I was way too much in my comfort zone.
So one of the things that I've been consciously trying to do, especially over the last month or a couple of months, is every day I do something, or I try and do something, even if I try and do something, even if it's something really small, like sending an email that would make me uncomfortable, or
maybe make me feel a little bit uncomfortable, or
having a conversation with somebody, or going out and doing something that I wouldn't normally do. So I try and do something every day that just pushes me a little.
So I try and do something every day that just pushes me a little bit outside of my comfort zone.
Outside my comfort zone. Because I think it's really important,
because I think it's really important, for me personally, it's really important for me to grow and change. Like, I don't want to be in the same situation I am next year. I want to be a better person. I want to be a better person. I want to be more confident. I want to be not worrying about the things that I want to be not worrying about the things that I worry about now.
It's funny because you've got to work with your mind a little bit. Don't do that, you're fine here.
Because your mind will tell you, don't do that, you're fine here.
Don't go out, don't go out.
Don't meet that person.
You're fine here, stay here, watch Netflix.
You're fine here, stay here, watch Netflix.
Make something on TV. So you have to have a little bit of a battle with your mind getting out.
So you have to have a little bit of a battle with your mind.
Getting out of your comfort zone, because it
will try and stop you. It will try and keep you where it's comfortable. So I don't know if you guys have had that in your head. got to have this internal battle. But for me, it's
gotta have this internal battle. But for me,
super
it's super
important,
important, this idea. And stepping outside your comfort zone
is quite overused.
It's an important term. It's quite overused.
But I think it's so important for like personal growth, and
I think it's so important for like personal growth and just trying new things. And
sometimes
it's gonna be an absolute disaster.
You're gonna be in the danger zone.
Sometimes you're gonna be in the danger zone,
and
it's gonna be awful. But I think overall,
get into that optimal performance.
If we can get into that optimal performance zone as much as possible, then
that's good.
That's great, Anna. I love that you're challenging yourself like that with just little things every day.
That's great. That's great, Anna. I love that you're challenging yourself like that with just the little things every day. And
those little things
build up, right? You can use them as stepping stones to work towards bigger goals as well. So
I love that.
I love that.
I have noticed that as I've gotten older,
it's easier to get outside of my comfort zone. Maybe I don't care as much about what other people think these days as I used to. So I'm more willing to go out of my comfort zone and to put myself out there and try to new things
and to challenge myself in that way. And Anna, maybe as you get a little bit older as well,
you feel similar to me. You will feel similar to me that it will get easier and easier each day.
I'm wondering if you could share about
some of the things that you've learned about yourself from trying to step outside of your comfort zone. Do you have any great insights that you could share?
Do you know what? I'm going to give an example, and this relates to learning languages as well.
Do you know I'm going to give an example, and this relates to learning languages as well.
I know that maybe you're going through this. How can I push?
You're going through this as well about
myself and challenge myself with my
push myself and challenge myself with my English. Chatterbox 306. Stepping outside your comfort zone. Stepping outside of your comfort zone can be scary, but it helps you grow as a person. In this episode, Andrew and Anna explore the science of stepping outside of your comfort zone. Talk about why it's important to push yourself and share their own stories of personal growth and overcoming challenges. Chatterbox 306. Hi Andrew, how are you? Hello everyone. Now Andrew, what's our episode about today? Well, Anna, today we are talking about comfort zones. Comfort zones. And we are going to discuss the idea of stepping outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah, stepping out of your comfort zone. This is a topic I really like, and I think you guys are gonna like this one as well. I think you guys are gonna like this one as well. Stepping out of your comfort zone. Step out of your comfort zone. Step out of your comfort zone. Step out of your comfort zone. I think I need to step out of my comfort zone. I recommend you stepping out of I recommend you to step out of your comfort zone. Step out of your comfort zone. If you want to improve your English, you need to step out of your comfort zone. This is a topic I really like, and I think you guys are gonna like this one as well. Now, stepping out of your comfort zone means to challenge yourself by doing something that makes you feel stressed or anxious. Means to challenge yourself by doing something challenge yourself by doing something that makes
you feel stressed. Feel stressed or anxious. Stepping out of your comfort zone means to challenge yourself. Challenge yourself by doing something. I like challenge. I like challenging myself by learning English. I like challenging myself by learning English. 영어를 배우면서 스스로에게 도전하는 걸 좋아해. I like challenging myself by learning something. 뭔가를 배우면서 도전하는 걸 좋아해. something이 남겼다. I like challenging myself by learning something. Challenge myself. Even though it makes me feel stressed. It makes me stressed or anxious. 좀 스트레스 받거나 불안하게 만들지만 좋아한다. I like challenging myself by learning something. I like challenging myself by learning something, even though it makes me feel stressed or anxious. I like challenging myself. Stepping out of your comfort zone. And actually, stepping out of your comfort zone can be uncomfortable. But it's one of the best ways to have new experiences and grow as a person. 성장을 할 수 있는 가장 좋은 stepping out of your comfort zone. Stepping out of your comfort zone is one of the best ways. To have new experiences, and grow as a person. Stepping out of your comfort zone is one of the best ways to have new experiences and grow as a person. Have a new experiences. I like having new experience. I like to have new experiences. 나는 새로운 경험을 하는 걸 좋아해. I like to have new experiences. I like to have new experiences. I think we're gonna have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to talk about, especially, specifically, because we're both living in foreign countries. Away from home, and I kind of predict that a lot of our discussion will be maybe about this subject. I kind of predict that a lot of our discussion will be maybe about this subject, but we'll have to see as we go along. Maybe we should first begin by talking about what the comfort zone is. We should first begin by talking about what the comfort zone is. We should first begin by talking about, because we can't really talk about getting outside of it. We can't really talk about getting outside of it if we don't know what it is. We can't really talk about getting outside of it if we don't know about it. 뭐에 대해서 we can't really talk about. Can't really talk about stepping outside, stepping out of comfort zone. If we don't know what it is. If we don't know what it is. If you don't know what it is. If we don't know what it is. So in your mind at least, how do you define the comfort zone? In your mind at least, how do you define the comfort zone? 적어도 내 생각에는 in my mind at least, it's important. In my mind, in your mind at least, in your mind at least, well, the comfort zone, first of all, it's invisible. 보이지 않아, I guess. But it's a place where you feel, as it says, very comfortable. For example, invisible. I feel One of my biggest comfort zone is being in my house. Being in my house. I like being in my house. For example, in my tiny little flat is my absolute comfort zone. In my tiny little flat is my absolute comfort zone. I feel happy here. I feel safe. I feel very comfortable. I feel safe. I feel very comfortable. So comfort zones are where we feel like we're in our element. Well, that's what it feels like for me. I don't know about for you, but you don't feel necessarily challenged or pushed. That's what it feels like for me. 나는 그렇게 느껴요. I don't know about for you. 넌 어떨지 모르겠지만. That's what it feels like for me. That's what it feels like for me. I don't know about for you. I don't know about for you. Well, that's what it feels like for me. I don't know about for you. Well, that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like for me. 나한테는 그렇게 느껴졌어. Well, that's what it feels like for me. I don't know about for you. I don't know about for you. I don't know about for you. But you don't feel necessarily challenged or pushed. 도전하거나. You don't feel necessarily challenged or pushed. You're not necessarily anxious about anything. You're not necessarily anxious about. You're kind of in your zone doing what you love to do. So for me, being in my comfort zone is great. We feel good when you're in our comfort zones. Feel good. Yeah, exactly. I think that's a good way to put it. I think that's a good way to put it. I think that's a good way to put it. And maybe thinking of your house is like a really easy way to understand this idea. For many people, your house is like the area where you can feel free to be yourself completely. You feel safe and comfortable. Feel free to be yourself. The area. Many people. For many people, 많은 사람들에게. For many people, your house is like the area where you can feel free to be yourself. completely. You feel safe and comfortable. Feel free to. Be yourself. Feel free to be yourself. Feel free to. Be yourself. Feel free to be yourself. I like being at home. I like being in my house because I can feel free to. Be myself. I like being in my house. I like being at home because I can feel free to be myself. I can feel free to be myself. Be free to be yourself. And I like to think of the difference between doing a job or working at some place that you've worked at for a long time.